All you night owls, thank you guys for joining me. Unafraid Show, George Reister. We're coming to you now. Weekend in review, college football. It was a great weekend of college football. Super excited about it. Super excited to talk to you guys about it. First and foremost, Alabama is absolutely in the league of their own with Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. I have never said this about Alabama, that they looked unbeatable, but Alabama looks unbeatable. Like, this is the first time Nick Saban has ever had a true quarterback, like a real dude. And I'm telling you, it is absolutely scary for everybody else. They might as well hand him the trophy right now. They might as well hand Nick Saban the trophy right now. Swipe up, share the feed, tell a friend about the Unafraid Show. Send in your questions, comments, and I will get to them. But first, we're going to start with the thoughts from the weekend. It was a good slate of games, despite some of the biggest names not being ranked. And one of those games, which was Texas and USC. Tom Herman and Clay Helton were playing for the hot seat. Like, whoever lost this game was going to be on the hot seat. And it would have been different if the game was close. But USC 2 weeks in a row against Stanford, now against a Texas team that most people don't really love, they got boat raced again. I mean, like, I'm not sure who had a worse 2 weeks, whether it was Clay Helton or Chip Kelly, or whether, well, Chip Kelly 3 weeks, or whether it's been Willie Taggart. All of these guys have been underperforming. All of them have been underperforming, because you would have thought that UCLA would have been able to get a win today against Fresno State, which they didn't, lost badly. You would have thought they would have beat Cincinnati. Nope, didn't happen there either. So, you're going to have a lot of coaches that just got at schools that are going to be on the hot seat already. And Clay Helton at USC, oh my God, dude, they might fire him on the tarmac like they did Lane Kiffin. Like, they might even let him get on the bus. That's where we're at USC right now, which is absolutely embarrassing. The top 10, the Unafraid Show top 10 is out. Go to unafraidshow.com. I'm going to reveal the top 10 right now. And remember, the Unafraid Show top 10, I rank these teams not based upon, I don't care about the AP poll, which Joel Klatt was right about, which is an absolute sham and a joke, because they only care about the previous week's rankings and don't take into account who you played, dominance, any of that. So the top 10, the Unafraid Show top 10 is based upon 3 criteria. That is it. It is simple. It is easy. And that is it. And we re-rank them every single week. And the previous rankings do not matter. It matters quality wins, schedule played, and your absolute dominance. Those are the only things that matter. I don't care about your eye test. I don't care about your conference. I don't care about any of that. Who did you beat? How did you beat them? And your quality of wins. Did you play and beat other good teams? We got Alabama at number 1. I mean, it's just too easy for this team right now. If you watch them play Ole Miss, they could have scored 100 points. Literally, I mean, like, this is not even a joke. They could have scored 100 points, but Nick Saban apparently is a nice guy. He was like, I'm just going to stop at 62. They had 28 in the first quarter. And then they just pulled off the gas from there. Number 2, LSU. I know nobody had LSU in their top 10. And I am not an SEC homer guy. Everybody knows that. But LSU has 2 good wins on their resume. Nobody else in the country has 2 wins as good as LSU has. They got to win over Miami, and they got to win over Auburn. Nobody else can brag about that. Not even Alabama. Alabama has wins against Louisville and then against Ole Miss. But they were absolutely dominant in both of them. I mean, it was crazy. Number 3, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is explosive. Everybody thought that that they would lose a step with Baker Mayfield, and then they got a little short quarterback who's half baseball player, Kyler Murray. But this dude is electric. They actually might be better without Baker Mayfield. Yes, I said it. They may be better without Baker Mayfield, so that's why they're sitting at number 3. Ohio State at number 4. Yes, I did just watch the TCU game, and they're still at number 4. Why? Because the only other Power 5 team that they've played was Oregon State. So they haven't faced a ton of competition despite being extremely dominant. But we did learn, though, TCU is a good team. You guys don't forget to send in your comments. I will get to them. TCU is a good team. But Ohio State, they got too much speed on the outside. And they presumably should be getting better because they got this was the last game of Nick Saban's suspension. Yes, I put it in air quotes because it's not a real suspension. This was absolutely a sham. We wrote about that on Unafraid Show as well. We got Notre Dame sitting at number 5, Clemson at 6, Stanford at 7, Georgia at 8, Washington at 9, and ring, ring, ring the bell, Oklahoma State at number 10. And up next, we got Virginia Tech. They got kind of penalized because their game got canceled. Penn State hasn't played anybody at all, so you can't get in the top 10 without playing anybody at all. And Auburn is up next as well. So that rounds out the top 10. You guys go to unafraidshow.com, click on the link, and then share the link with somebody. And if you're mad about the rankings, if you don't like the rankings, send your comments, questions in to I'mMad@unafraidshow.com. I made the email address just for you guys who are going to be upset about it. Now we can get on to the Pac-12 play. Well, actually, before we even get along to the Pac-12 play, I wanted to hit a couple games that were impressive. Besides the Alabama game that was impressive, TCU showed me something today. TCU is a good team. They shot themselves in the foot. They should have won the game today. You had Notre Dame. Notre Dame beat Vanderbilt at home. Vanderbilt's not an upper echelon SEC team. But Notre Dame, who typically crumbles at the end of the year, because I'm not a Brian Kelly guy, not a Brian Kelly believer at all. But he's got his team looking good, but they cannot pass the ball. Like, everybody thinks that you're going to, like, that this Notre Dame team is going to be different. They cannot do anything special because you cannot throw the ball. If you don't have a quarterback, Brian Wimbush cannot throw the football. If you can't throw the football, you cannot win a national championship. These are just the facts. I didn't make the rules. These are just the rules. Washington, same thing, man. But we'll get to them when we start in the Pac-12. I also loved Oklahoma State today because they have a defense for the first time. They're playing against a good quarterback in Brett Rippon at Boise State, who could be one of the top quarterbacks taken. Enjoyed that as well. Really, really enjoyed them as well. And that kind of rounds out the top 25. But I do want to get to the Pac-12 play because, you know, that's my bread and butter, where I went to school. And so understand this very, very well. And the team that I was most impressed with, actually, yeah, the team I was most impressed with in the Pac-12 today had to be Stanford, I guess. Had to be Stanford because at no point in time they were without Bryce Love. They dominated the game. They won the game and set up an epic matchup for next week against Oregon. Oregon did not look good this week. I have to be honest, because they beat San Jose State 22-35. I'm an Oregon guy, but at the end of the game, I was kind of like, Washington State beat San Jose State 31-0. I didn't expect them to score 22 points, or us only score 35. Yeah, that was not impressive at all by the Ducks, and they better step it up before Stanford gets up to Eugene next week. Because Stanford started slow against UC Davis, but then put up 17 in the second quarter, and the best player on their offense showed up again, which is KJ Costello. It is not Bryce Love, people. It is KJ Costello. I'm telling you, he is the so somebody said a lot of swearing coming from Notre Dame neighbors alumnus house today. Yeah, because they can't throw the damn football. That's why. You got Washington and Utah. Washington won that game 21-7. Jake Browning again. I mean, people keep trying to tell me Jake Browning is a good quarterback. I do not believe it. He never, ever plays well against good defenses. Today, he finished the game with 155 yards and a touchdown. But let him play a bad team. He'll have like 300 yards, 6 touchdowns. I mean, I get that your stats aren't going to be as gaudy when you're playing against stiff competition, but they shouldn't be poor. You know what I mean? Like, they should be like reasonable normal. Like you should have some games where you play against good defenses and you pass for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. That should occasionally happen. That does not happen. And that is the reason why I still stand by my point that Washington will not win the Pac-12. Won't happen because of their quarterback situation. That's why I like Stanford and I like Oregon better. Texas USC. I covered it a little bit a few minutes ago, but I mean, this was just an awful loss for Clay Helton and USC. Back-to-back losses. They lost to Stanford. They were ranked. Then they come back. They're sitting at 1-2 again. They just lost to Texas, who was kind of reeling after their Maryland loss. People are questioning Tom Herman. And then they go down to Arlington. They go down to Texas and get their asses whooped. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I mean, they just got demolished. 37-14. And they scored those 14 points in the first quarter. JT Daniels not looking great. He threw for 300 yards, and most importantly, USC was held to like 8 yards rushing or something stupid. I don't understand how you can have this many 5-star athletes and you can't win games. Like, you can't even stay close in games. And I'm telling you, Clay, the USC is going to be like scrambling. They're going to be scrambling pretty soon. I will give a little bit of a preview of Oregon and Stanford next week because game day will be there. We will cover that. Colorado today played New Hampshire, uneventful. We knew what was going to happen there. Idaho State and Cal trumped them. Chase Garber's their quarterback. He's coming into his own, owning his team. They won that game as well. Washington State, 3-0, dude. I did not think that this was going to happen. I thought that this game against Eastern Washington could be a trap game, but they showed up and showed out. Whoa, what in God's name is going on in Westwood right now? Chip Kelly's UCLA team is absolutely atrocious. I mean, they let 2 gimmies get away. They lost to Fresno State and they lost to Cincinnati. Everybody knew that they were going to lose to Oklahoma this year for sure. But when you look at UCLA's schedule, I predicted them to go 5-7 this year or 6-6, and they're going to be struggling. I mean, if UCLA wins a game this year, they'll be lucky. They'll be lucky because they play Colorado at Colorado next week. Their true freshman quarterback is not ready. Then they play Washington, Cal. Oh, they will have a chance against Arizona because Arizona stinks. So I'll give them a shot at Arizona. Utah can't score. Maybe a chance at Utah, but dude, like I'm struggling to find wins for them. I am looking at UCLA's schedule at 0-3, being that they lost to Fresno State 38-14. They lost to Cincinnati 26-17. How am I supposed to find a win here? How am I supposed to find a win? My wife is on the way home from the game right now, and listen, we're not even going to be able to talk about this. I can't even bring this up. The whole rest of my night is ruined. Thank you, Chip Kelly. Thank you, UCLA. See you next season, basically. Like, this is like a freebie. We were going to go up to the Oregon game when Oregon was playing UCLA. And my wife, anybody who knows my wife at Denisha Danielle, like, she likes to talk mad trash about everything. But guess what? She can't talk trash about this year. Because she was talking, oh, we're going to beat you guys up there in Eugene. Listen, she ain't even going to want to go now. I'm telling you. This team is absolutely putrid and horrid to watch. The Arizona State game is getting ready to end under the sound of my voice. And I think it finally... Oh, no. It's 6... it is 6 seconds left, apparently. And... Arizona State has the ball on the San Diego State 35. Should be the last play of the game. It is absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible that Arizona State, who just beat Michigan State, is now losing to San Diego State. What does that mean? That sounds like a hangover to me. Because Arizona State is going to compete in the Pac-12, but they got a little too high on their hog after beating Michigan State. And they the game's over. They let San Diego State snipe them. Yeah, so that's where they're at with that. But to go back to the Oregon and Stanford game, I think that the winner of this game is going to win the Pac-12 North. Because if Oregon wins the game, then they will have so much swagger and confidence that they will be able to beat Washington. If Stanford wins, Stanford's beating Washington anyway, regardless. But if so that's the way the Pac-12 North is going to shake out. I think that the Ducks have to. They absolutely have. This is a must-win for Oregon for recruiting, to establish that we're back thing, to establish that like to let their nuts drop. This is a big game for the Ducks. It's a big game for Cristobal. Big game for all of them. And it also says something. We saw something today. We've seen a bunch of Pac-12 teams play BYU already. We saw BYU play Cal, and we saw BYU play Arizona. They demolished Arizona, and then they lost to Cal. Then they go back and they play Wisconsin. This is where being battle-tested matters. Wisconsin didn't play anybody their first 2 weeks. BYU had been in games, played well, played poorly. And then when they got against a big name opponent with a little bitty number in the front of their name, like Wisconsin with a 6, they win the game. And Wisconsin was not ready because they got hit in the damn mouth because they haven't played anybody. That's my only frustrating part about college football. Like these schedules. These schedules are absolutely putrid. I hate that Oregon hasn't played anybody. I hate that Georgia, whose fans are probably super upset with me still because I won't rank them highly in the top 10 because they haven't played anybody. We have to schedule people. Penn State fans are probably mad too. Why aren't we getting in the top 10 now that Wisconsin lost? Because you haven't played any damn body. Penn State has played Kent State, Appalachian State, which they almost lost to, and Pitt. That's all you got? Well, that's all I got in the rankings. I don't got you in the top 10. Play some damn body. I mean, I'm a college football fan, guys. It's got to stop somewhere. And I already went through the top 10 rankings. They're on unafraidshow.com. If you guys have any questions, comments, anything, send them to I'mMad@unafraidshow.com. I will get to all your comments tomorrow. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your energy. Share the Unafraid Show with a friend. Tell them about it. Peace out. Catch you guys later.